12, the largest of our 36 center stages. So since that's the biggest stage we have, of course then, we've used it for some of the biggest movies of all time. And along with that, some pretty famous movie scenes, like these ones. And for his latest movie, Oppenheimer, with Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., which was, of course, a big winner for us at that year's Academy Awards ceremony. Took home the night's top prize, Best Picture, among several others. But folks, we are now coming upon our first of those two quiet zones. Again, they are filming for a very top secret production. Up ahead, you will see their set on your left-hand side in our metropolitan sets, our big city sets. We'll drive by them here in a moment. But I do have to jump off of microphone now. So I'll be with you all again once we're inside the building to experience King Kong 360 3D. So have the... As a reminder, hold on tight to your belongings, remain seated at all times. We're going to shake you around a bit now here, folks. Welcome to King Kong 360 3D. Ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to head back into our quiet zone here once more as we drive by that set. folks, I am back. If you look over to your left-hand side, we're driving by stage 30 and 31. And if you are fans of The Voice on NBC, you will notice the logo for The Voice painted right there on the corner.
Hey there, Studio Tour. I'm Snoop Dogg from The Voice. We tape our show right here in stage 30 and 31 in the heart of the Universal Backlot. These state-of-the-art sound stations allow us to bring every round of our show to life, from the blind auditions to the live finale, and everything in between. Make some noise!
Now, another coach there, folks, you see on The Voice, Reba McEntire. What you may not know, though, is that while she films The Voice, she simultaneously films another show for NBC, her own scripted series, Happy's Place. But luckily for her, she just films it next door, stages 32 and 33. Folks, also to your left-hand side, just through these trees, this lovely body of water, that is an actual rentable, filmable location. I think it is most recognizable as having played the Amazon River for scenes in Creature from the Black Lagoon. Folks, that was a lagoon. It's where Gilman was terrifying people. Take a look. Back in the 1950s. In fact, there's a good look at Gilman up on your monitors there, folks. One of our iconic movie monsters. But hey, we were making these monster movies even decades before that one. It was back in the early 1930s, folks, when we brought you classics like Dracula with Bela Lugosi, Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, and even his Bride of Frankenstein, right, with Elsa Lanchester. Now, a lot of those earlier monster films, they were captured here, up and down these cobblestone streets of what we call Little Europe. We use the buildings around us here, folks, to play different European countries. All we really do is simply change the language on the signs. Now, more recently, you may be recognizing these structures as having portrayed Port Royal for Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, that first Pirates film with Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom. You may also know this location as having played the fictional country of Genovia for scenes in Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement with Anne Hathaway and Dame Julie Andrews. But I'll tell you folks, my personal favorite production that has utilized this as a filming location was the NBC series The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. Folks, we just drove through The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
No, folks, it is very awesome. Give the show a try. A great example of one of our television shows that did film entirely on studio property. You check out just, about 30 seconds of that first episode, you're going to see a part of our European sets there in that episode. However, all the buildings we just drove by in Little Europe, folks, not real buildings. We call these backlot sets facades and shells. Now, what that means is, folks, is they're all just the outside walls and a rooftop. But look up at your screens now. This is what our movie sets look like on the inside. Just wooden framed interior. So, no, we do not film inside any of these buildings. They're totally empty. We only use them for exterior shots. An entrance or an exit, or maybe just a scene taking place on a sidewalk or a street. So for a show like The Good Place, whenever you see Ted Danson or Kristen Bell walking through the doors of our European sets, in reality, we cut and then we move back and do our sound stages. And that's where we build those interior environments. But folks, our European sets definitely most famous and recognizable from those monster films we were making back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Folks, it is because of those monster movies that we now have modern-day horror movie villains like your Freddy Krueger, your Mike Myers, your Ghostface, they all have a debt to what we were doing back in the golden era of Hollywood. We kind of helped create and form the modern day horror movie genre by filming all those epic monster movies. And we have maintained our league as being the horror movie studio, folks. In fact, up on your screens now, since it's spooky season, folks, how many of these Universal horror movies have you all seen? This is a unique soundstage. It holds our one and only permanent set inside of it, a subway station set. We'll just switch up the signage inside here, maybe give it a paint job. It can play different metro stops all across the nation. So right now, looking at our signs, folks, clearly we are in San whoa! Hold on, slight tremor. Okay, they can happen from time to time. Oh, we are not done. Oh boy. This is no tremor. This could be the big one. We gotta ride this earthquake out together. We gotta get out of here. We have clearly overstayed our welcome. Folks, we just survived earthquake, that big one, a simulated 5.6 on the Richter scale. And check it out now, the entire attraction only sets itself in like 30 seconds. The next tour, you can be awaiting the other side of those doors. Now we've been doing that earthquake attraction on this tour since 1989. Paying tribute to all the epic disaster movies that we were making here, mainly throughout the 1970s. Films, for example, like Earthquake, starring Charlie Winston. However, folks, the 1970s was an important decade for our studio, for another reason too. That is the decade that we released Steven Spielberg's first blockbuster mega hit film. You all know it. It's Jaws. Released in 1975, folks, meaning it is celebrating its 50th anniversary as we check out Amity. Just another reminder, keep holding onto those belongings nice and tight. Remain seated. You're doing a great job of that, folks. But take a look. Lovely water, beautiful houses. Not a care in the world. Do you all hear that ominous tuba music? That can only mean one thing. Take a look. We got a shark in the water. Don't worry though, my buddy George, a trained shark catcher, he's in the water. Oh, there's George now. Oh, folks, we got a front row seat. We're gonna watch George catch this shark. Look at him go. A master of his craft. So graceful in the water. Hey, George, you are killing it today. Oh. Okay, poor choice of words. On second thought, let's just leave George be. He seemed a bit distracted. We'll give him some space. It is your safety I am more concerned about, so we're going to park you safely here, behind this pier, full of flammable barrels of gasoline. Now, what can possibly go wrong?
Whoa.
Bruce. That's right, we named him Bruce because that's the name Steven Spielberg gave to his mechanical sharks when he was making the movie Jaws the Stuff. It is even an ongoing thing in the industry today. You got a great white shark in your movie, why not name it Bruce? For example, if you all have seen the Disney Pixar movie Finding Nemo, what is the name of their great white shark? It's Bruce. They're paying homage to our shark right there. Now, y'all, we've been doing the Jaws attraction on this tour since 1976, but it is still not the oldest attraction we're doing today. We're going to show off now the very first attraction that was ever added on this route. It is a little weather demonstration. So we're going to show you now how we can create a thunderstorm for movies and television shows. Keep looking at this clearing to your left-hand side. We'll kick on some thunder and lightning effects first to set the mood, create some atmosphere. The thunder you just heard, folks, simply coming from speakers spread throughout the area. The lightning you see, that's made by strobe lights. They're sitting up on the rooftops. All right, one more element, folks. Let's turn on some rain. There we go. And if you follow our raindrops all the way up, you can see for yourselves, they're just coming out of an overhead sprinkler system, shooting the water up into the air, letting it fall back down naturally. And when we light the drops from behind, that is what really makes them pop. But again, it's really about the control. When we're on set, we need to be able to start the rain when we want, and then of course, stop the rain once we cut. I mean, if we were to leave these rain effects running for too terribly long, you know what? See for yourselves. We're bound to create a flash flood. Folks, you might want to take cover.
Whoa.
Ta-da! Weather. That's really all it takes, folks. It is that simple. And you may have even seen that flash flood before on camera. Used in the movie Big Fat Liar with Paul Giamatti, Amanda Bynes, and Frankie Muniz.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
From our oldest attraction now, folks, right into the oldest part of our movie studio. Welcome to the Wild West. Folks, parts and pieces here of these Western structures, they date back to our silent filmmaking years of the 19-teens. That is how long we have been filming on this one road. But this area is still used all the time, even today. If any of you are fans of writer and director Quentin Tarantino, this may look familiar if you have seen his 9th film, titled Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Movie came out back in 2019, all-star cast to it, stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, just naming a few there. If you were to rewatch that movie, or hey, watch it for the first time, great film, around 30 to 40 minutes or so of its runtime, it takes place right where we are currently parked. You watch that movie, you can see all of these buildings around you, plain as day. Because Tarantino didn't change him at all. If you remember in the film, DiCaprio is playing a famous Western TV actor. His character's name is Rick Dalton. And in the world of the movie, Rick Dalton is filming for a Western television show called Lancer. And this is where all those scenes were captured. So folks, sometimes our movie studio just plays a movie studio. But over the years, y'all, tons of famous cowboys, they've walked up and down that road there at one time or another, filming hundreds of movies while doing it. But as we round this corner again here, folks, we're going to retrace our steps for just a moment as we briefly drive by our Jaws attraction one more time. Now, I do want to stress, though, folks, that while none of the movie Jaws was filmed here, Spielberg did come out to this spot still. He did help us build and create our Jaws attraction.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
Okay, we will officially say goodbye to Amity Island, but hello to some different residential parts of our studio. Folks, on your right-hand side, this two-story White House we call the Chicken Ranch. You can actually see it up here on your monitors in action. If I have any horror movie fans on board, you know that house as Rob Zombie's House of 1,000 Corpses. On your left-hand side, folks, we're driving by the entrance to another residential neighborhood. That is Colonial Street, which you may know better as Wisteria Lane from all 8 seasons of the ABC television show Desperate Housewives. They are doing some production preparation down there on the road today, so since we can't drive down it, look up at your monitors. I'm giving you a peek down there. Here is how that road has appeared in previous movies and television shows. And now, point those cameras over to your right-hand side. We're driving by here what I think is the most famous movie set standing anywhere in Hollywood today. You are looking at the Bates Motel. And up there on the hill, the Psycho House. All from Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, Psycho, starring Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. All dressed up here today for our annual Halloween Horror Nights event for an attraction at the event they call the Terror Tram. They drive you out here, you get dropped off, you walk through that area, and people jump out and they scare you. It is terrifying. But if you are fans of scary movies, you love Halloween, check out that nighttime event running for one more week. Let's drive by the Psycho House, but oh boy, y'all. Be on your guard. It looks like Norman is home today. Everyone play cool. Smile and wave. Let's all say hi, Norman. Hi, Norman. Oh boy, that is a no. Okay. On second thoughts, we're gonna leave him be. You know, I kind of get it though. Look what we stuck in his backyard, folks. This epic airplane crash set. This is from Steven Spielberg's movie War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning.
Get in.
From one movie set here involving an alien invasion directly into another one, folks. Up ahead of us here, what is still the newest movie set on our backlot tour? We have the Jupiter's Claim set from Jordan Peele's latest movie, Nope, with Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. And hey, as we drive you through it, we got the man himself here to talk to you all about it. It's writer, director, producer, Jordan Peele.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I do. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hotspot. Welcome to the world of No.
Check out the movie Nope, folks, if you have not seen it. Still streaming on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. But folks, Jordan Peele thrilled to have one of his movie sets included here on our backlot tour. If y'all didn't know, when Jordan Peele was a kid, he used to come here as a guest. He would take this tour just like all of you. Helped him develop an appreciation and, of course, a desire to become a filmmaker in his own right. And that is actually a very similar origin story to another big-time movie maker we've been talking about on the tour today, and that is Steven Spielberg.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the
Fast Furious Hollywood Drift, again opening next year. To all the annual pass members on board today, we'd like to thank you all for being with us. If you are not annual pass members, you can head upstairs to the Universal box office and find out there how to upgrade your ticket to an annual pass, and then you can come back and visit us again and again. Make sure you've also downloaded the official Universal Studios Hollywood app onto your smart devices to stay up to the minute on wait times for attractions, get show times for our shows, and also confirm our park closes today at 6 p.m. And lastly, folks, to purchase any of the NBC Universal movies or television shows you've maybe seen or heard on today's tour, head on over to uphe.com or simply ask at any of our retail stores. And with that, we've made it home. Enjoy the rest of your day here with us, folks, at Universal Studios Hollywood. And as they say in the movies, that's a wrap.